Hello, Dr. Renee here, and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be bringing you this video today because I'm going to be talking about treatment of adrenal dysfunction. Now, this is going to be really important for those of you out there suffering from burnout. And it's funny, I'm across all social platforms right now talking about it because so many people are suffering from burnout and they don't know what it is. They think it's all in their head. They're being told they're depressed. So if that's you, you are in the right place. But before you watch this video, I want you to go back and watch the first two videos that I did. One was pretty much telling you my story, and the second, a little bit about my story with some of the symptoms I had and some of the symptoms that you might have if you are suffering from burnout, also known as adrenal dysfunction. So if you missed those videos, I'm going to put them right up here. And without further ado, let's get into this video where we're going to go through lifestyle changes that you can implement right away to start taking control of your stress and start healing your adrenals, as well as some strategic supplementation that you can start based on the symptoms that you're having. So if you're ready, let's get to the episode. All right, let's get right into it. Now, there are a few different ways that you can approach adrenal dysfunction depending on the severity of your dysfunction. Now, mild symptoms might be, you're feeling a little tired, a little run down, a little bit of a struggle to get out of bed in the morning, but it's not too bad. Your energy's okay throughout the day, maybe a little bit low, not much problem sleeping at night, cravings aren't too bad. That is sort of the beginning of burnout, all right? Middle part is what we call wired tired, and those are the people that are having a hard time getting out of bed in the morning, definitely cannot get out. And they're kind of low energy all day, probably plummet down a little bit more in the afternoon, requiring like a pot of coffee, having cravings all day. And then they get to about 10 o'clock at night. And if they have not gone to bed, they get a second wind and they're ready to go and they're ready to party for the night. And then you have the third stage, which is full-fledged adrenal fatigue, whereby you are low energy all day long. You wake up tired, you go to bed tired, you're tired all day. You really are not motivated, you're really exhausted, your cravings are through the roof for sugar and junk food. And this is pretty much towards the end of adrenal dysfunction. So the reason I go through this is because I want you to sort of have a clue, like when I talk about the different treatments, especially towards the end, where you might fit in and where you might want to strategically supplement to help you heal. And while I'm going to talk about supplementation, I really want you to focus on the lifestyle changes first and implement them and really work at them, because that is how you're going to truly heal your body and truly prevent this from happening again. So first and foremost, what I'm going to talk about is nutrition. Now again, adrenal dysfunction, generally you have significant cravings for junk food, sugar, caffeine. Those things are going to get you through the day all day. And you wake up, have a pot of coffee, noontime, have a pot of coffee, right? And you really have no motivation to eat healthy because you're just so fatigued and tired and exhausted, and you just want to open the cabinet and pull out those chips. And why do I say that? Because I've been there. That was me. So I can say it because I experienced it firsthand. So really what I want you to do, and it's going to be really, really hard, I get it, but try to start eating less of that junk food, less packaged processed food, less sugar, less caffeine, okay? And I'm telling you, if you start little by little adding in real food, whole foods that are going to heal your adrenals, like real protein, like real chicken and meat, and really great carbohydrates like quinoa and sweet potatoes, not your refined carbs like pastas and breads, because that's really just going to feed the fire and make things worse. So if you really just focus on whole food nutrition, and again, it's going to be really hard because you're so tired and all you want to do is eat that junk because you're so tired, and I get it. But really, believe me when I say that junk food and the sugar is just making things worse, and that 5 pots of coffee a day, okay? Number 2, sleep. Sleep is really important. If you can sleep in a little bit later on the weekends, by all means, do so, because those with adrenal dysfunction actually have the most restorative sleep between 7 and 9 a.m. So you really want to make sure that you're optimizing your sleep. You're trying to sleep as best you can at night, before bed. Dim the lights, no blue lights from your computer or phone. Maybe have a relaxation ritual whereby you take a bath, maybe you read, maybe you have a hot cup of lavender or chamomile tea, whatever it may be. And then go to bed hopefully for the night. And As far as the morning goes, as we heal your body, as we heal your adrenals, it will get easier to get out of bed. And I should have mentioned this one first. Manage your stress. You're not going to heal your adrenals unless we manage your stress. And you're only going to know how to do that if you pull back and identify where your stressors are. Now, you notice I didn't say take your stress away, because I know I can't do that. And my goal with talking to you about the supplementation and these lifestyle changes is that we're going to make you more resilient to stress. Things are going to come at you in the future and be like, yeah, I got it. And we really start with that whole food nutrition, because that's going to help your gut build up that bacteria that's going to produce the happy chemical called serotonin, which is going to make you happier and more stress resilient. So honestly, manage your stress. And when I say that is pull back, see where your stress is coming from, see where, do you have to leave that job? Do you have to make plans to leave that job? Do you have to find another job? Instead of just saying, I hate my job, I'm going to stay in this job. Okay, that's fine, but what are you going to do about it? Are you just going to sit there and continue to complain that you hate your job, right? And, your relationship, if it's a terrible relationship, try to work on it if you can, or get help for your relationship. If it's finances, maybe you have to get creative right now and find maybe a hobby to turn into a business, right? Maybe you're overextending yourself and overscheduling yourself. And that's so true with women. I can speak for myself. I'm a mom, I'm a online health consultant, so an entrepreneur. I'm married to a physician, so I'm productive. I don't say busy, I'm productive as well, but I know where my boundaries are. I know where I have to say no. And I also know, this is really important, listen up. I also know when I have to ask for help. And as a woman, I know it's really hard to do that, but sometimes you just have to ask for help and say, I can't do it all, even though I want to, I can't, and can you please help me? All right, let's move into supplementation. So across the board, regardless of what stage you're in, if you're mild, moderate, or severe adrenal dysfunction, I would recommend 3 key supplements. The first is B complex. The B vitamins are essential in making a lot of our chemicals that make us feel happy and rewarded and relaxed. Those chemicals are called serotonin and GABA and dopamine, and we really need different B vitamins to make those chemicals. So a lot of us are deficient in the B vitamins, one, because of our standard American diet, which is so depleted of nutrients, but number 2, stress eats up the B vitamins. So we really want to focus on supplementing with a B complex. And in addition to helping to make those chemicals, it's also going to give you energy. And who doesn't want the energy? Swap out the coffee and swap in the B complex. Next key supplement across the board, magnesium. Magnesium is super important for those with adrenal dysfunction. Once again, just like B complex, it is deficient actually in most people, but especially those who are stressed, because it is actually used up with stress. And magnesium is more of a relaxation mineral or nutrient. And it's really just going to help you not only make a lot of hormones in our body, including cortisol, but it's actually also going to help relax you. And the third key supplement, and there's been a lot of research done on this as far as when it comes to adrenal dysfunction, is vitamin D. Now, most people are deficient in vitamin D, especially if you live in the Northeast, because think about it. If it's hot and you're in the South and it's summer, you are in the house. If you're in the Northeast, like myself, in the summer, we're lathering up with sunscreen. And then in the winter, we have long, cold winters here in the Northeast. We're inside, I'm not usually on top of a mountain skiing. And if you are, then get a little vitamin D by not putting sunscreen on for like 15 minutes. And that's not the majority of us, right? The majority of us are in the house or on our computers working, or we're outside in the sun with sunscreen on. So a lot of people are deficient in vitamin D. So not only is it going to help your adrenals, it's also going to help your inflammation, which we'll talk about some other time, and your immune system. And who doesn't need immune system support right about now? So now we're going to get into the different phases. So again, if you have mild adrenal dysfunction, those 3 key supplements are probably really good in addition to the lifestyle changes to give you a boost over the hump and get you starting to heal and on the road to recovery. If you feel like, I feel like I'm in that middle stage where I'm really tired in the morning and I'm wired in the evening, I just, here's what I would recommend. I would recommend layering on something called an adrenal gland adaptogen. And that is an herb that actually will adjust your cortisol, either higher if it's low or lower if it's high. So it adapts your cortisol based on what your body needs. And my all-time favorite adrenal gland adaptogen is called Ashwaganda, and it is pretty safe. All of these supplements I'm talking about are relatively safe. Always check with your doctor before starting anything, especially if you have a chronic medical condition. But ashwagandha is my all-time favorite. Another favorite is Relora or rhodiola, but ashwagandha is my go-to. The other supplement I should have mentioned, because I think this is key across the board, because typically those that fall down the rabbit hole of adrenal dysfunction have chronic stress. My favorite stress relieving supplement is called L-Theanine. And essentially it's an amino acid from green tea that will calm you without making you feel drugged. So it's got this really nice calming, relaxing effect without making you feel like you are drugged and sedated, like some other prescription medications might make you feel. Because what it does, it actually induces a specific type of wave in your brain that will make you feel relaxed. It also makes you feel focused. So if you find that you're so stressed and you can't focus because you're so stressed, L-Theanine is the supplement for you. And the last category is something called adrenal gland adaptogens. And this is usually something that I would actually recommend to someone who's really adrenal fatigued and who's like low energy all day. And basically what that is an adrenal gland from an animal. But essentially what we're doing is we're giving you the adrenal tissue from another source, an animal, to help support yours. And again, it's a nice subtle energy. I think it's a lot more subtle than a B complex. B complex sometimes gives you a real jolt of energy. The adrenal glandular really is a nice subtle energy. It gives you a little bit of lift without feeling like it's overboard or it's too stimulating. So sometimes people that are really sensitive to caffeine, sometimes they can't tolerate higher doses of B complex. For B complex, I always say, all supplements actually, I say start low and go slow, because you don't know how your body's going to respond. And once again, check with your doctor before you start anything, because I want to make sure that you are safe in healing your adrenals. So with that being said, I think I hit on all of it. There are little caveats. Is there a place for a low dose steroid? Sure, I used that in a handful of patients in the past, but my feeling is a lot of times they feel so good on it, they don't want to come off. And that's not the point of supplementation. The point of supplementation is actually to heal your body and get you over the hump into that next step, so you can continue to heal without all the extra supplements. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the share button. There might be someone out there that really needs to hear this and that's not hearing my message. And most of all, subscribe so you don't miss any important health information coming your way in the coming weeks. So I so appreciate you. Oh, and I don't want to forget, come find me on my social media platforms. My favorite place to hang out is Instagram, at Dr. Renee Wellenstein. Please find me there. I'm doing a ton of reels, which are these little 15-second videos on health-related topics. I'm also on TikTok, Dr. Renee Wellenstein. I'm also on Facebook, Dr. Renee Wellenstein. So across the board, I have a YouTube, same name, and a podcast, Love the Leap with Dr. Renee. So come find me on one of my other platforms. I would love to connect with you and share more health information with you to get you on the road to better health today. So, all right, until next time, we'll see you and have an amazing day.